Guys, coming back for Shameless, Season 6, Episode 5, Refugees, and I was really looking forward to this episode. I know a lot of you are watching the Super Bowl right now, and I did start to watch the Super Bowl, but I figured that I would review Shameless for you guys because I don't want to not review Shameless, and like I said, I was really looking forward to this episode because the fact of the cliffhanger last week, and I have to say that I overall really did enjoy this episode. There were definitely some things, as usual, that I was not okay with, and some things that definitely were very questionable, but for the most part, I really did enjoy this episode. I thought this was a very strong episode with some very strong scenes. And let me just talk about the one thing that impressed me the most. They actually made Carl an interesting character. Not that they made his character interesting, because the character is still, I think, pretty shitty. They just made his storyline interesting, and I'll get into that because overall, I was very impressed by this episode. I liked it a lot more than some of the other ones we've had, and I think this was probably definitely one of the strongest ones of the season. I still think episode 3 is the strongest episode this season, but this definitely was up there. I really did enjoy this episode for the most part, and I thought this was a very solid one. So let's get into this episode. Of course, the big thing to talk about is what happened at the end of last week. As we know, at the end of last week, Fiona and the Gallagher clan, they've now lost their house, but they're not completely out of their house yet. They pretty much have to do whatever they can to get out of there, and this was really sad to watch. It really was, because this is the house that we've seen the Gallaghers in. This is just the norm for them. You know, so much has happened to them in this house, and especially when we're hearing Fiona talk about how this was her childhood house and all the memories happening there, and that she lived there even, they've been in that house even before she was born. I mean, it really shows how much of a character the house really is, because the house, I feel, was the one thing that united all the Gallaghers. No matter what happened, the Gallaghers always lived under this one roof. And now they don't. They don't live under this one roof. And basically, they are reminiscing on what the house means to them. And they want to try to get the house back, but they realize there's really nothing they can do. And it was really sad to watch at points, I have to say, just seeing them going through this problem of trying to sell the house. It was definitely very hard to watch. And, basically, eventually it comes to point where we see the family come in, and obviously they want the house. They want to see what the house is like, and Fiona just wants some time with the house. She wants some time before they say goodbye to it, and basically they start packing everything up, thinking about where they're gonna go. And unfortunately, she gets a call from Debbie, that's telling her that they did in fact sell the house, and that basically they got kicked out of it, which is really hard to watch, because again, this is the house that we've known the Gallaghers to be in, and to see them not in it is definitely going to be something that I'm going to have to get used to, because we've never seen the Gallaghers not be in this house. This has always been the house, like I said, that's brought them together, and to see them not there is definitely very interesting. It's something very daunting for the show to do. I really do admire that the show is trying to do something so drastic, because I feel like other shows wouldn't want to change much, and this show clearly does want to change something, and I like seeing that. So just that in general, I do like that the show is trying to change some things. I think that definitely is really great that they're doing that. But the other thing about this that was very interesting is we can see there's a lot going on with Sean and Fiona. Sean does not feel that Fiona should live with Carl, that, Carl has done some really questionable things, and Fiona should just leave him alone. And basically, Fiona's thinking that they're going to move in with V. That's what she thinks that they're going to do, and that's the best thing for them to go with V and Kev, but that's not what ends up happening, because V and Kev go through a whole different thing in this episode, which I will get into. But basically, Fiona, like I said, she thinks she's gonna go with V and Kev. She does not end up going with V and Kev. What ends up happening is her and Sean, basically Sean convinces her that it's not good to be with Carl, so she sends Carl to V and Kev, basically. We'll get into that, but basically, she tries to go with Svetlana at one point. Svetlana doesn't want to give her an apartment, and she tries to go to Melinda, the person that she works with. Melinda doesn't want to get her anything, so she's basically forced to live with Sean. She's now living with Sean, but let me say, my favorite scene in this episode, and probably the whole season, was seeing Fiona enter her house that is completely empty. All their stuff is gone. She's walking in that house, just realizing that this is not her house anymore. This is the house she grew up in. She's never going to be able to live in this house anymore. It was very hard to watch, but I really feel Emmy Rossum really sold it here. I mean, no dialogue in this scene really made this, I think, a much more impactful performance, because it showed that you don't really need dialogue in this scene. You just see Fiona's face. I mean, she is in utter despair. She's never had to do something like this before. This is something that was very hard for her to do, and I really like seeing that. And I really love that emotion. I really felt it, and I thought they handled this all very, very well. I definitely really love that scene. And definitely, it's going to be very hard to see the Gallaghers not in that house. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure at some point they are going to get that house back, but I don't know if it's going to happen this season. I really don't. So just seeing them not there, very hard to watch. But as it stands, Fiona's now living with Sean, and basically she's living with Sean, and Liam's there too, as well as Sean's son, and you kind of see that they're starting a family, which I kind of like seeing. And now knowing Fiona's pregnant, I feel like Fiona now isn't going to abort her baby. I feel like maybe she is going to keep the baby. I'm not really sure. That hasn't really been a concern of hers. And basically, she's realized that she can't really fight anymore. She needs to basically live with Sean. And I'm interested in seeing really what's going to happen there. But that's pretty much everything that happens with Fiona this week. Let's get into this bullshit, because Frank and Debbie, this is very interesting. On one hand, I really like this plot. On the other hand, I think it's real bullshit, because what happened with Frank in this episode I thought was really stupid. What happened with Debbie, on the other hand, I did think was quite interesting. As we know, Debbie is working for the Hexler family, I think their last name is, and basically the Hexler family, as we know, Frank got her that job to be this nanny, and we know that Frank doesn't just want her to be the nanny. And I like that we saw in this episode, because this was something I was a bit worried about of where this plot was going, that Tyler, the husband, actually doesn't want Debbie there. He doesn't think that they need her. He thinks that he can get by on his own. He doesn't really want Debbie, and he's saying, I want her gone. I don't know why she's there all the time. It's clear that Erica really does want the help and really does think that she needs to be there, and you can see that Debbie really has a close relation with these kids. Like, these kids seem to really like her, but Tyler wants nothing to do with her, and I think that's very interesting that we saw that. So Debbie's complaining to Frank that it's not really working, that this, whole thing going on with Tyler's not really working. But again, I don't really know why she's listening to Frank. I kind of see it, though, as at this point that she really has no one else. Her relationship with Fiona is squandered. They can't really do anything. Something I liked, by the way, though, is seeing that these two, again, seeing all the Gallaghers work together, but not really working together. Now that they've all split up, they're not working together. And seeing them have to move out of their house and realizing that they're probably not going to see each other again for a while is very interesting. And basically, she wants to Frank tells her to basically answer all of Tyler's needs, and basically that's what she plans on doing, trying to make herself look more seductive. And I'm just thinking, if Debbie was 18, I would be okay with this storyline, but she's 15 in the show. She's at 15, 16, something like that, and this is just weird. It really is. And as attractive as Debbie is, because honestly, I will say Debbie's grown to a very attractive woman, I will definitely say that. But as attractive as she is, despite all of that, this is ridiculous. It really is. And the fact that she's trying to get close to Tyler, it's just not going to work. I mean, Tyler, I don't really think wants anything to do with her. I like the way that she tried to handle it, though. She tried to tell Tyler that he needs someone like her. When Erica is going to die, he's going to need someone to tend to the kids and to him. And it's very interesting, but if she really, to me, it seems like Debbie really wants him to be like a father to her baby. That's what it seems like. And if that's really what's going on, I don't think Debbie realizes the drastic, change that she's making, because she's going to have to deal with not one, but 4 kids, because they already have 3 kids, as we know, and Debbie's going to have to tend to a 4th one since she's having her baby. She's going to be living with Tyler. She's not going to be able to go back to school. I mean, she's making some really poor decisions, and most of them are because of Frank, but she really doesn't understand that. And she basically tells Tyler that if he needs anything to come to her, and it seems like they had a genuine connection. And then we get the big scene with Frank. This was very interesting. Frank basically, Debbie tells him how it went, and Frank is very proud of her, and Debbie calls him dad. I'm not kidding you. She calls him dad, and I think it's just because she's feeling close to Frank. She feels like Frank really supports her and really wants to help her. Now, do I think that Frank is the best person to listen to? No, but is he trying to help Debbie? To a degree, yes. I do think Frank really does want to help Debbie. Is he gonna fuck up somehow? Yes, this is Frank right now, but like I've said, I really do feel that Frank does want to be there for Debbie because it just makes up for all the times he wasn't there for them before. And I feel like Debbie doesn't really care about all the mistakes he's made, just the fact that he's there for her, supporting her, that's what matters to her. And I definitely like seeing that. But then we get to Frank's side of this. This was just weird with Erica. I don't like this character. I really don't. And I don't know why they decided to go this direction with Frank. But as we know, Frank is basically pretending to be a doctor that works there. And he is making Erica think that he is this cancer concierge, basically, which as we know, he's not. And basically, he was trying to distract Erica so that way Debbie could have a moment alone with Tyler, which I don't know what the fuck he thought was gonna happen. I mean, he literally told his daughter to basically have sex with Tyler. He literally said that. And of course, we know Debbie had that crush on Maddie, but Maddie, of course, didn't reciprocate those feelings. And as much as they, I think, cared about each other, it was just, he was too old for her. And I don't know why Debbie always falls for older men. It's just, it's weird. It's something that the Gallaghers do. And it's weird, but at the same time, I understand why Debbie wants to do it because she's thinking this is someone that already has kids and would be okay with raising them. But I just don't really think Tyler sees Debbie in that way. But we find out some stuff about Erica. Erica is a lesbian, we find out. She had a crush on Melissa Etheridge. I couldn't really tell what they were trying to do here, but Frank tries to get her into like caskets and things like that. I thought that they were going to try to find like a new Bianca for Frank, but that's not where it seems to be going. I don't really know where we're headed with this. All I know is at the end of the episode, Debbie thinks she sees Tyler calling into bed with her, but it's actually Erica, and this is very interesting, definitely very interesting. I don't really know, where they're going with this, I have to say, I really don't, because this is very strange, but I don't really know what's gonna happen there, we'll have to see, but as far as Debbie goes, she's making some really questionable decisions, which could turn out really good for her, but if Tyler truly doesn't give a shit about her, it's gonna end up really bad for her, and if Debbie really is truly getting attached, this is Debbie's problem. She gets attached way too fast. I mean, think about Derek. She, without consulting Derek, thought he wanted to raise a family. He wanted kids. He wanted to get married. She didn't think that they'd have any problem with that. She thought that Derek really loved her. And do I think that Derek cared about her? Yes, but did he see Debbie as like his girlfriend forever? No, this was someone that he was in a relationship with, was gonna leave eventually, and she just gets too attached. And it's clear she's already getting attached to Tyler, and I hope that Debbie realizes that she's making really bad decisions. And I said last week that they're ruining Debbie's character. I really don't think they are. I think Debbie just has this thing where she wants to, have someone, and Frank is the person that she has right now, so she's gonna listen to what Frank tells her to do because he's supportive for her, and why not? So I don't really think she realizes the bad decision that she's making. Keep in mind, guys, she is a teenager. And I know people say she's a really stupid character, but you gotta remember that she is a teenager. I don't know where they're going with Erica, though. This is just, it's weird where they're going with that. But let's talk about Lip, because I like what they did with Lip in this episode, and Helene, I really like that, I have to say. I thought Lip was really great here. Definitely. Lip and Helene, as we know, Helene confessed to Lip when she was drunk last week that she's not for him and he shouldn't be with older women. And let me just say that karma comes to get Lip in this episode. Definitely. Karma definitely comes to bite Lip in the ass. And I knew it was going to come eventually, but I'm surprised that it's actually happening because I didn't know if we were going to see this character again. And I'm glad we are because I really like the way it's just playing out. Basically, Lip ends up taking a picture of Helene, seemingly for no reason. He just wants to take a picture of her, and you can tell that these two are getting close. He kind of does it because he wants to remember her, and he gets this picture of her, and basically that's what ends up happening. Amanda then comes in to take a picture, just because she's saying, oh, it's for photography class, and we learn that Amanda has moved on without Lip, but you can definitely tell that she's not happy with Lip. She definitely is not happy with the decisions he's made. She thinks that he's being really stupid about what he's doing, and she still, obviously, I think really does care about Lip, and she wants the best for him. I've said this before. Lip deserves someone like Amanda. Amanda's gonna be there for him, and Amanda says that he's really lucky to have someone like Helene and things like that, and, basically, what ends up happening with Helene is, oh, by the way, I forgot to say that Debbie is now living, with the Hexlers. She's going to be living with them, and I don't know if that's going to work out for her either. We'll have to see. But let's just, back to Lip, basically, Amanda ends up not only taking the picture, but leaking the photo to the entire school, so basically Helene's career is now ruined, and Lip basically tries to talk to Helene. Her husband kicks him out, which I knew was going to happen. You could just tell that her husband said, remember, he said, I am letting you fuck my wife. He didn't say, you can. He said, I am letting you have sex with my wife. That's what he said. And I like that we saw that scene. You can tell that he pretty much wants nothing to do with Lip now. And Lip and Helene, I think, are pretty much done. And Professor Ewan's response, I mean, I'm not surprised he responded that way. He's always been a weird guy, but the fact that he talked to Lip about how he had a professor that he had sex with and things like that, I thought was very interesting. But Lip is really conflicted now what to do. What is he going to do now? Ian is also now living with him. Ian is living with Lip, and that definitely is going to be very interesting. Which, while we're on the subject of that, let's just get into Ian. So, Lip, that's pretty much everything that happens with him. And I definitely feel we're going in a direction where war is definitely starting between Amanda and Lip. And I really feel Amanda wants Lip back. I mean, it's clear that she was attached to Lip, and she said that she really cares about him, and she's upset that he made this decision. And Lip says that he never really made any promises to her, but he kind of just abandoned her if you really think about it. I mean, he had a choice to choose between her and Helene. Someone that would really support Amanda, being someone that would really support him, wanted him to get good grades, wanted him to get into a good school, would do literally anything for him. I mean, if you guys remember last year, she did literally anything for him. Helene just kind of came into the picture. He got attached to her because he wanted someone to have sex with, and that's all Helene really is. I think to her, this isn't really anything. To him, he's clearly getting attached, and I think Lip has definitely made the wrong decision. I think he's realizing that way too soon, way too late, and well, definitely this is not getting well for Lip. I'm gonna say that right now. So going to Ian, I half like what they did with Ian because they kind of gave him a storyline this week, and they kind of didn't because we kind of focused on the fireman plot, and we kind of didn't. We learned that there is this like group of gay cops that kind of have this war with the firemen. I don't really know what's going on there. That was definitely very interesting. But the big plot point of this episode is between Ian and Caleb. As we know, there is definitely a romance brewing between these two. I like Caleb overall. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's good for Ian. He seems to really care about him. And basically, they start to talk about the subject of Ian becoming a fireman. They think that's why he's there, that he wants to become a fireman, and they tell him that he should be a fireman, but basically he tells Caleb straight out that he's really only there to have sex with Caleb. That's why he wants to be there. And Caleb goes off on him, says that he's not that kind of guy, and he wants a date. He doesn't just want to have sex with Ian, He wants to have a date with him, and I'm looking forward to this. I hope that Ian does agree to this because I know people are upset about Ian and Mickey, but Caleb seems to be a really nice guy. He seems to really care about Ian, really wants him to do well, and I like that Ian has found someone that's not just someone that he's gonna have sex with. I like that he hasn't found a Helene like Lip has. So I hope this works well for Ian. I hope this makes Ian mature a bit because right now it seems like Ian just wants to have sex with guys, and that's all he cares about. He doesn't really want attachments, and I understand that maybe part of his bipolar and also kind of like getting over Mickey, but it's clear he said he got over Mickey, and it's clear he wants to have sex with Caleb. If he wants to have sex with Caleb, he needs to have a date with him, and I hope that Ian does agree to that because that would be really great if he did. So that's pretty much everything goes on with Ian. Let's talk about the thing that impressed me the most. Carl's storyline I thought was actually really good here. I really enjoy storyline this episode, but it does connect with V and Kev. V and Kev, not much with Giannis, except Kev definitely feels guilt over Giannis's death, which I kind of understand, I kind of don't. Like, it's not really Kev's fault that Giannis died. Giannis had it coming. You knew he was gonna die. I'm not surprised that Giannis died, and I mean, there's nothing, there's nothing wrong, with Giannis dying. I mean, it was pretty much the best thing to happen for Giannis to die. It just made sense. He needed to die. He did so many things, and the character wasn't working. I'm glad they killed him off, and I'm glad they barely mentioned him after that. Basically, what ends up happening is Kevin V end up getting all these refugees that were in the war, and there are all these kids that were in the war, and it's very sad because they have to train them all. They have to raise them, basically. And these kids do not speak. They don't know English very well. They aren't very well versed. They aren't very intelligent, and Kevin V really don't know what to do. but I really like what V did here. I really thought they were gonna do this in like a comedic way, but I really love what V did. She actually gets to know all these kids. She says, look, I'm gonna bathe you, I'm gonna put clothes on you, I'm gonna give you a life that you could have had, and she learns right away that one of the boys is not a boy, but a girl, and it's probably one of my favorite scenes with V that we've gotten in a while. I feel like we haven't really seen V be a very good, not a very good mother. I think we've seen her be a good mother to Amy and Gemma, but we really haven't seen that caring side of V. Like, we've seen it here and there, but not like we did here. I really love the scene with V. She goes up to this to the girl who is pretending to be a boy and isn't really a boy, and basically she gives the girl clothes, gives her Debbie's clothes, puts on makeup for her, notices that there's like a battle wound on her shoulder. It's a really touching scene. I really love the scene between these two, and you can really tell that V really does want to help these kids, and I really like seeing that. Now, in the meantime, Carl is still trying to impress Dominique. I don't care. I really don't. He's also trying to get a job, which I understand why Carl's trying to do that. It's just the dialogue for his character is atrocious. I'm sorry. It's so bad. There is literally nobody that talks like this. And I understand that's the point of Carl, but it's not funny. It's just fucking annoying. Nobody talks like that. Nobody acts the way that Carl does. And I don't know why he feels like there are people that act like this. It's annoying. It's, pointless. And I don't like the direction that they're headed with that. I think that's really dumb. But what happens with Carl besides that, I really did enjoy, because Carl gets a bit of a reality check in this episode. He doesn't get the job. He's thrown out pretty much because they can't take him seriously. Obviously, nobody talks like that. By the way, I'm really liking the character of Nick. I think he's a genuine friend to Carl. He had that really great monologue about the bike and everything and how he wanted the bike, and I really like that scene. Dominique, like I said, though, has no interest in him whatsoever. I think Carl just needs to let her go because she literally has no interest in him. But V gives Carl a reality check because Carl's now living with V and Kev, which I think was a good thing for him to do, because V tells him straight out that you're not, that you are white. You are not black, and you need to stop talking this way. You need to stop acting this way. And I love that V finally gave Carl a reality check. Somebody had to do it. I love seeing that, and I'm glad she put him in his place because someone had to do it. So thank you, V, for doing that, because Carl was really getting on my nerves, I have to say. And it's not so much the character. I like the character. It's just the dialogue they've given him, the way he's been acting, I've not been a fan of, and I'm glad that V put him in his place. So Carl ends up actually getting close with all the kids. Basically, they get their guns damaged. Their guns are thrown out, and their gun is damaged. But the kids, being refugees in a war, know how to fix the guns, and they fix them very quickly. And Carl realizes that they could be of service to them. He starts to get close with the one girl that was a boy but actually was a girl, and we see that the girl is very experienced in what she does. And Carl asks, have you ever killed someone before? We see that she is injured. There definitely is a lot more going on with them, but obviously they can't really talk because they don't really know how to talk, and that's basically how this episode ends. So I was very impressed with Carl, I have to say. I really love what they did with Carl in this episode. I thought that was very well done. My one thing with this episode, besides the whole Frank thing with Erica, was Chucky. They're giving Chucky literally nothing to do. I don't know why Chucky is back. I don't know why we did this. It feels like Chucky's just back to make fun of him, and it's really not funny. I mean, the jokes they're doing with him are really annoying. The fact that they just abandon him, I mean, it's stupid. It really is, and it's not funny. I don't know why. When the show is this kind of humor, it's not funny. It's just kind of offensive, and the show seems to do things to be edgy just to be edgy, and that's a very good example of that. So overall, guys, I really did enjoy this episode. This was definitely a very strong episode. What's going to happen with Fiona? Can she live this life with Sean, his son, and Liam in this motel? Clearly, they want to live together, and I hope things are working out well for Sean and Fiona. They're definitely going through some problems, and I hope this works out well for them. Are they ever going to get their house back? I don't know. I feel like at some point they are, but right now it kind of seems like their time at that house is over, and now they need to go their separate ways, and it's very sad, but that's just kind of the way things are going, and I'm interested in seeing. And something I like about this are the character dynamics. Like, V and Carl haven't had a lot of interaction in a while. Lip and Ian haven't had a lot of action in a while, have a lot of interaction. Debbie and Frank, definitely they have some very good interactions there, and just putting characters in a scene together, I think they're doing very well with that. I will definitely say that. Debbie, like I said, Debbie really, I think, needs to think through what she's doing, because what she's doing, she does have some some good points here, but it's not going to end well for her in the long run. I know it's not. It's definitely not a good idea what Debbie's doing, and she definitely needs to rethink what she's doing because it's not a good idea what she's doing at all. And I understand that Frank wants her to do this, and I understand that Frank, I think, really does want to help her. He's also really not thinking this through, though. What's going on with Erica? I don't really know. Does, do you guys think that, uh, Toby, I think his name. What was his name? Now I'm forgetting his name. That Tyler really does care about Debbie. Do you really think he does, or does he just want her gone? I mean, does he just think that she's a good nanny? I'm not really sure. I feel like it's not what Debbie thinks. And Lip and Helene, they're done. They are done. I mean, there is no way. There is literally no way that Lip can make up for this. I mean, how can Helene forgive him after this? How can Helene even see Lip? She has to be embarrassed. I mean, her career is pretty much over, and it's all Amanda's fault. And Lip is definitely going to get his revenge on Amanda. I'm going to say that right now. Either he's going to get his revenge, he's going to have anger sex with her. I could honestly see him having anger sex with Amanda. I could see him doing that. He does that with every girl he sees. He did it with, if he can do it with Karen, he can do it with Amanda. I mean, Amanda's nowhere near as crazy as Karen, so I'm fine with that. You guys know Karen's like my least favorite character out of a lot of shows. She's one of my least favorite characters of all time. So, I don't bring her up a lot. That's why. Let's talk about Ian, though. Is Ian going to go on this date with Caleb? I think it's good for him that he does. It shows that, Caleb really does want to be with him, and he doesn't just want to have sex with him. He does actually want a genuine relationship, and I like that. What is Carl gonna do with these kids? It's clear that he's gonna use them. It's clear they're very well versed in, survival techniques and things like that. And they're kind of the refugees that Carl needs. I'm definitely interested in seeing if he's gonna use them, what's gonna happen there. I like seeing V take them under her wing, be a mother to them. Really good stuff in this episode, guys. Definitely overall really did enjoy it, minus the whole Frank and Erica thing, and then what's going on with Chucky as well. Are we ever gonna see Chucky again? I don't really know, and I don't really care, frankly. But let me know what you guys saw this episode. I overall really did enjoy it. Hope you guys are enjoying the Super Bowl. I am going to go back to watch the Super Bowl because I want to see the end of it. And we'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for the X-Files, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.